Morning everyone, and I am here with the Indian Express newspaper, and today's date is 28 November 2025. Okay, so let's begin today's session. So the first news is about index record 86,055.86, and Thursday early trade closes at 85,720.38. Okay, after 14-month turmoil, Sensex breaches 86,000 mark first time. Okay, so this is all about the Sensex. The another news is about House panel hearing on December 4. Basic structure not violated, said by law panel firms up view on joint election bills. The another news is about the Supreme Court for autonomous online regulator. Government say amending rules on digital obscenity. Obscenity. I'm sorry. Disruptions a disaster for opposition. Rizizu ahead of House session. Another news is about the Central Empowered Committee before Supreme Court stepped in. Ministry was told to let Law Commission decide future of Green Committee. Fueled by jaundice scare cleanliness concern behind violent VIT protest fact fiction months of anger. Okay. List includes 7 alien names for geological feature on Mars, including crater named after renowned geologist M.S. Krishnan on Meridian surface, a slice of Kerala, Periyar River, Varkala beach, ISRO birthplace. Okay, so this is the second page where you get a lot of news and a lot of detailed explanation of the first page, so read it in detail. Okay, move on to the another page. It's about the city. Vani district of DCP not to lodge mob lynching FIRs, commissioner tells officer. Okay, high court restrained firms from infringing upon Tesla's trademark. This is also about the city. B schools of Mumbai. Navigating economic success with B schools in India. Discover how B schools are equipping students with real world skill for fostering economic resilience and strategic financial thinking. Okay, shaping future ready leaders at this is the advertisement. Okay, move on to the politics page where India and Indonesia inch closer to BrahMos deal at defense dialogue. Deputy CM's son versus BJP Maharashtra's chief in Thane tie up no bar civic polls fight on Sindhe turf is between BJP Sena. Okay, this is also about the nation. Ajit Pawar said deal cancelled, son's form yet to apply. Okay, let's move on to the another news. This is the editorial page and where you get a lot of detailed explanation. Okay, so this is the only page where we are going to read each and every lines in detail about any one topic. Okay, so the word of the day: a photograph is a secret about a secret. Okay, without great powers on board, G20 is adrift. Sanjay Baru: if the big three have no interest in the G20, this group will wither away with patchy attendance at future summit. Few such groups ever shut shop, but their meeting require less relevance for their members. Okay, so without great power, G20 is adrift. Okay, so this is the topic about the G20 and what's going inside it. So everything is written here, so we are going to read it in detail. Okay, so So, the first para is about the writing on the wall of the group of 20 was clear in Indonesia. The failure in 2022, the failure to craft a joint statement due to differences on the Russian invasion of Ukraine alerted the next year's cost India to camouflage that uncomfortable reality by focusing on global south. Okay, so it make a joint statement due to difference of Russia and Ukraine invasion, means that war that is already happened there. So India to camouflage that uncomfortable reality by focusing on global south. Okay, so India is just focusing on the global south with all the realities and camouflages. Okay, so this month at Johannesburg, the G20 was reduced to a gathering of middle power with the big three, the US, China, and Russia staying away. The decision of US president to seek a new detente with China and Russia, his declaration at G2 with China and his Ukraine peace proposal suggested return of Russia to the G8 seem to have combined to reduce the relevance of G20 for all three. It is instructive to recall how and why the G20 summit came into being. It was in the autumn 2008, just week after Lehman brother. Okay, so inside the another paragraph, we have the author is just trying to say about the decisions that is made by the US president during G2 because he didn't attend the session of G20. Okay, okay. So in the response to financial crisis that had enveloped both the US and Western Europe. Okay, so existing group 8 G7 G8 plus Russia. Okay, so would normally have been considered adequate platform for consultation among major economies and which help China to emerge its financial resources to deal with fiscal challenge the crisis posed. Okay, so the expanding G8 to G9 inducting China would have an option. However, the US was not yet willing to give China that status. Perhaps Bush, who was the midst of concluding a strategic partner with India, was also conscious of how India would respond to such an elevation of China. Sarkozy reportedly told Bush that there was plurilateral group of finance minister that included several middle power including China, India, and these are the nations. Okay, why not elevated that group to a summit level? That is how G20 finance minister group became a G20 head of government summit. The first meeting was convened by Bush in Washington, DC in November 2008. Okay, so what's inside it? The G20 leadership again meet again in means these all are the stories of G20 from where it started and at which period or at which year who hold the presidency of G20. Everything is written here, so read it in detail. Okay, so India enthusiastically welcomed the G elevation of G20 since it was for the first time it had been admitted to head of government summit such importance. Frustrated with the lack of progress, the reform of United Nations and India's induction into UN Security Council, it viewed G20 as a substitute. Initially, G20 summit did have feel of UN Economic Security Council. Okay, so after India becoming the leader or head of the G20, okay, it's the first time where government summit such importance. Okay, of that G20. Okay, so what's inside the global agenda of G20? where the Trump is just mainly highlight here the war of Russia and Ukraine and how it did not turn up. Okay, so these are the relevance of plurilateral platform. Second, by suggesting G2. Okay, it's G20. So these all are the, it's a quadrilateral security dialogue, Quad. Prime Minister Modi chose to stay away from East Asia Summit in Malaysia. Okay, so it's all about that global agenda of 20. Okay, so Quad, full form of Quad is quadrilateral security dialogue. Okay, and Prime Minister Modi, the global agenda of 20, said that PM Modi stay away from the East Asia in Malaysia. Okay, EAS, East Asia Summit in Malaysia. Okay, so inside it there are unpredictable and Twitter happy Trump. The group remains an important platform for India. The EAS brings together important countries from East and Southeast Asia as well as major global power. Today, far more important gathering than G20 or the Quad. It is unfortunately that G20 has been unwilling to address the major global economic challenges of the rise of mercantilism in international trade and restriction on migration. Each of the geo-economic challenges can be addressed, and G20 has made itself increasingly relevant. Okay, G20, it's all about. So, moving to the another topic, and childhood has changed up, society must catch up. This is the another topic. Read it in detail. We already read about the summit and what are the Trump says, what are the points that is said by the Trump and all. What each side here. G, okay, when XI and Trump talk. Okay, so these all are the news and these all are the important topics. Editorial news. This is the idea page. Read it in detail. Okay. So these all are the topics of editorial. I'm sorry for the disturbance. So let's move on to the nation page. It's the nation page. Read it in detail where you get a lot of ideas. Okay, what is happening in the all over the world. Okay, so let's read the explanation page. What is written inside it. Okay, so this is the topic of economy where unlike GM, the GE crop story is encouraging with both indigenous research and policy support from the government. Okay, where GM crops to genome editing, India's journey, traits targeted for genome editing in major crops. These all are the crops and these all are the genes and these are the traits. So read it in detail. So what's about the GM crop? What is it? So Harish Damodaran, the author, cultivation of genetically modified GM. GM means genetically modified crop in India has not progressed beyond cotton. Okay, so so genetically modified crop in India, GE, the full form of GEH, in May, two GE rice line were identified for release after 2 years of trial and evaluation. Okay, after 2 years of trial, there are two rice lines which are released by the government. and these crops are kharif crop, means these rice are, and all India coordinated research project. Under this project, these rice are discovered and identified. Okay, so the two lines are improved. GE, mutant of the popular Samba Mahasuri and MTU 1010 varieties, with first one claimed to have demonstrated on average 19% yield increase over the former, and the second making the latter amenable to grow well in saline and alkaline soil. Okay, so there is also third GE line is mustard, undergoing in the second year of trial in 16 location 2025-26 Rabi crop season. So the results are good. The variety, uh, canola quality, low pungent mustard that is simultaneously resistant to major fungal pathogens and pests, would be ready for release by around August 26. Okay, so there is new crops, that is mustard, that is going to be released by the government in the August 2026. Means these all are the crops variety that is identified the government, okay, identified by the government, and these all crops which are identified, that all are genetically modified crops. Okay, so GE versus GM, we already read about this GM, genetically modified. Okay, what is GE? Tell me the full form of GE. Somewhere is written where GE crops are different and GM crops are different. Okay, so read it in detail where you get a lot of ideas. Okay, so what are the policies push? Okay, written here and here. So read it and you will get the ideas that what are the crops that is targeted through this genome by editing major crops, and new traits are discovered. Okay, so another topic, defense. INS Mahi commissioned features strategic significance of sea ships. Okay, so Indian Navy on Monday commissioned INS Mahi, the first indigenous design and built Mahi class anti-submarine warfare shallow watercraft, designed and constructed by Cochin Shipyard Limited. Remember the name. These all are the GK questions. Okay, so INS Mahi is the lead ship of 8 vessels. Okay, so remember the name, that which shipyard is constructed this INS Mahi. Okay, so what's inside it? So after at the commissioning ceremony in Mumbai, Army Chief General Upendra Trivedi highlighted that the ship will significantly augment the Indian Navy near sea dominance, strengthen the coastal security grid, and safeguard India's maritime interest across the littorals, the shallow and near shore maritime zone that is strategically and economically critical. Okay, so the project saw participation industry participated in BHEL, L&T, Defense, Mahindra Defense System, NPOL, and more than 20 MSME, and has over 80% indigenous content. Okay, so these are the important. I will highlight it. And remember, first indigenously designed and built Mahi anti-class submarine warfare shallow watercraft. Okay, remember this name. So these are the key features of the Mahi class. Okay, that is written here. Strategically significance. What is the significance of this Mahi? INS Mahi, Indian Naval Ship Mahi. So India's coastline is about 7,516 kilometer with 12 major ports, 184 minor ports, 1197 island territories, coastal surveillance for anti-submarine warfare. Operation is considered critical. Okay, so these all are the overview of the coastlines of India's. So these ships are bridging a long-standing operational gap by giving the Navy crucial ability to detect and counter stealthy diesel electric submarine operation close to the coastline, an area where the largest surface and combatant cannot maneuver effectively. Their low draught, advanced sonars, and high maneuverability make them essential for securing harbor approaches, sea lanes, leading to major port, offshore energy asset, and operational bases that are vulnerable and economically vital maritime asset. Okay, so by strategically deploying 16 such platform along the littoral, the navy is creating such ASW. Okay, anti-marine subway warfare, I think, wall will strengthen coastal defense. This will strengthen our coastal defense, blue water task, and prevent the adversaries' ability to stage covered underwater instruction. Okay, so this would further strengthen in Indian Navy operations capabilities in the Indian Ocean region. The class also contribute to deterrence. Okay, so these all are the important about the defense segment, and it mainly explain the importance of INS Mahi in context of India and Indian submarines and coastal areas. Remember the ports of India, that is 12 major ports, 184 minor ports. Okay, I will give you the hint that 12, uh, the square of 12 is 144. So instead of 4, there is 8. 4 to 8. So 184. This is the minor ports and this is the major ports. Okay. So we already read about the economy part. We already read about the defense segment. Move on to the history. What is the Neely massacre on which Assam government has tabled inquiry report? Read it. Okay. Uh, Two things to know. It's just mythological things. It's a space and globe. So global. So read it. Okay. Hmm. Okay. What inside the economy? Let's read it. Monthly economic review for October. Finmin says rupee weakness in line with EM trends, inflation outlook encouraging. Okay. RBI's forex sells in H1 FY fiscal year 26. So it's just the outlook of the inflation by the RBI report and how the exchange rate regime is. So, what's the cost of Indian rupees? Today's India rupees cost is approx 88 or $87. Today's rate is written here that 89.36. Okay, so these all are the way how the inflation impact the economy. Everything is written here. Okay, what's the another part where markets hit all-time highs, sectors that are powering the push and the laggards. Okay. Income tax department to nudge for 25,000 high-risk taxpayers to disclose foreign assets camping to widen in this mid-December. Okay. Where Chinese major move AI training overseas for Nvidia chip. Several businesses have absorbed some of the tariff cost and pulled back on hiring. Black Friday arrived with momentum amid tariffs uncertainty. Okay, so read each and everything in detail. Okay, you will get a lot of ideas about the economy and what is happening. Even the inflation, the topic of inflation is also given there. So read it. Okay, so this is about the world. Act of terror probe on FBI chief Afghan men opened fire in DC kills two US guard. So fighter jet work to extinguish a fire which broke on Wednesday at residence estate on Tai Po district of Hong Kong. Okay, so this is the end of today's session. This is about the sports. Read it in detail. Okay. I will upload the PDF of this session in the description box. So please go and download from there. Thank you for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe.